Hello, everybody. Today's ramble was requested by one of my followers, and that person has donated to my Zelle. So I do take requests now for the time being. I can snap gum again on my one of my front molars. I figured out how to snap. I'm getting good. I've been practicing, so I'll do gum snapping again, but I won't be gum snapping as well as I used to, because I can only do it on that one molar. I used to be able to do it on both sides of my mouth, but now only on one, and just a little more towards the front. I've had teeth removed. Oh, you guys. And I didn't bother putting an implant in because, first of all, they're expensive. First of all, they're teeth that you can't see. They're in the back. I shouldn't be telling people this stuff. And, when I'm dead, people go, oh, she was missing 2 teeth, and they're going to know. But so I can't snap gum because I don't have teeth there anymore. There are molars way in the back, but that's where I used to snap my teeth. And so the cavity was so beyond, like, you couldn't fix it, that the doctor said, well, we could take it out and put an implant. But ideally, if you're going to get an implant, you need to put it in immediately. Because then because then they can put the implant, immediately, not in the minute, but like within a week or two, while the hole is still there. Because the hole closes up and then, and it gets thin, anyway, so. But they're so in the back, you can't see them, so I didn't bother getting a tooth put back in there. And plus, I'm going to call him my boyfriend in Maryland. He had to have a tooth removed and had an implant, and he put an implant in. The implant got infected. He had to have the implant removed. First he was doing, and I told him from day one, look, it's in the back, just remove the tooth and leave it. You're 70, I'm not 70 years old. Don't put a tooth back in there, It's in the back, you can't see it. So first he did the root canal. I said, don't do the root canal. Just remove the tooth. What are you talking about? Blah, 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 Plus, anyway, I won't even keep going. So he had the root canal. The root canal got infected, as root canals will do. And more often than not, they end up getting infected. I had 2 root canals when I was younger. Both got infected. 2 different doctors. So when the time came for an implant, I said, forget it. My 2 root canals got infected. I know my implant's going to get infected and I'm going to have to remove it anyway after spending so much money, because root canals are expensive, implants are expensive. Fine, it's worth it if they don't get infected, but mine got my 2 root canals from 2 different doctors who did it, 2 different, or whatever you call root canal people, it got infected. My boyfriend said, oh, well, that's because you didn't go to a root canal specialist like I'm going. It's like, okay. He went to the root canal specialist, and the tooth, ended up getting infected like a year later, so he had to have it removed. Then he went and he got the implant at an implant specialist, and now he's had the implant. You know how many thousands of dollars that is? Even if your insurance covers part of it, dental insurance usually covers nothing. Dental insurance doesn't ever cover anything. It'll cover filling a cavity, crowns, and that's it. Everything else is, and it's still expensive. You still gotta pay. I mean, some places have good dental, but he didn't have the good coverage, It covered only a little bit. And anyway, so now he spent all that money he could have donated to charity. Help poor children, or, anything, any charity. Better than a root canal that gets infected and wasted all that money, and then the implant wasted all that. Made me so mad. And then, of course, now, if the only thing I can is, I did say it. I'm sorry. I'm not the person who says, oh, I don't want. I say I told you so. When I was right, I tell people I told you so. I do, and I rub it in their face, and I don't care. So I told him I told you so. But that's why I can't keep a boyfriend. But no, he's my friend, though. but maybe he'll be my boyfriend again. I don't know. And then, like, I was living there, not paying rent, not doing. I was like, well, maybe I'll go to my parents for a while and figure out what I want to do. I shouldn't be living off him, you know, just not helping. So, but then when I moved down here, I realized that, I already knew my mother was having some issues. But when I got down here, I realized it was worse than I had thought. So I said, well, I really shouldn't leave again. I've got to stay here until whenever, It could be 10 years, it could be 20, it could be tomorrow, I don't know. But I can't leave my parents. I can visit Maryland, and I will. I'm planning to go in March for a visit. But right now, even if I did want a relationship again with my friend in Maryland, and even if he wanted with me, we really haven't discussed it, but it's something that right now would have to be long distance, or he's retired. I mean, I did encourage him if he wants to move down here, part of the year even, maybe. Now, I understand his position. He has a son who's in college nearby where he lives now, and he wants to be around. Some kids want to leave. They want to go, like me. I went to college. I wanted to get as far from my family as possible. I didn't want to be near my family. And that was me. But his son wants to be close to his parents, which is fine. He's an only child, so that kind of is understandable as well. And of course, I don't blame my friend. He wants to be near his son. They see, it's kind of a college where kids don't hang out there on the weekends. Like where the college I went to was you stay at college on the weekend, especially it was far from my parents. I wouldn't have had a choice, but there's like fun things to do on the weekends, a social life and stuff. But the college that my friend's son goes to is basically all the students go home on the weekends, so he's not going to hang out. So he goes home every weekend. He's kind of very attached to his father for sure, his mother as well, and that's fine. I mean, my friend had his son at a late age and his only child. So from that perspective, I can see, how he wants to be nearby us. So I said to him, well, I understand that's kind of what he didn't say it, but I can tell that's what it is. The son is there every weekend, and that's wonderful. Father-son time, great. Doesn't matter how old the son is. He's always been a very, present father. Even after his divorce, he was, luckily, his divorce with his ex-wife it wasn't amicable. There was some anger between them, but they kept it cordial, and the mother never made it difficult for my friend to see the son. It was always, here you go. Oh, you want him? Oh, it's not the weekend, but you want to see him? Oh, here, take him. It was very, whenever he wanted to see his son, he could see his son. And but, so that part was good. But in part, it's because, well, let's leave it at that. The mother had formed a new relationship, and maybe she wanted alone time with her new husband. So, that's what I'm thinking. As much as she loves her son, I'm sure, but probably like, yeah, great, here, the guy I cheated on you with and I are alone, and you can take the kid off our hands. And he he's forgiven her, and especially now she's divorced. Oh, I shouldn't get into too many details, but I don't forgive her. I don't even know her. I just don't forgive what she did. Cheated on him. And, after a few years, they were together, had the kid, and didn't even last, a few years. And she's cheating on him with a man her age, younger, older, maybe a year or two younger, but but a man in her generation. And, he suspected it, and then she never admitted to it, but it was quite obvious. And they ended up getting divorced. And immediately, like within the year, she was married to the other guy. So she claimed, maybe I don't think she's ever admitted to it openly, but it's quite obvious, Well, here's the good thing, though. Good, but bad, but good. Well, bad, too. I shouldn't be happy about it. He's not happy. But anyway, what happened is, so she left him for this young man. Imagine how he felt, like... But okay, I understand. He was older. He married a younger woman. There's a risk that the woman, once she's, getting a few years in, she'll want a young man her own age or whatever. But so she married the second guy, had a baby with him, and they got divorced like short years after that. And they despise each other. I mean, my friend and her, there was tension in the beginning. Then my friend accepted it and moved on. I don't know how he did it. I wouldn't have moved on ever if that would have happened to me. But, he moved on, whatever, dated around a bit. Then he and I ended up together for a few years. And now we never broke up, but yeah, things right now are not where we can be together all the time. Like I said, did I say it or was that in the other video? Anyway, yeah, I have to be with my parents right now. My father's old, he's healthy, but he's old. I can't move to Maryland, and I hate the cold weather. So, I was trying to tell him, well, maybe you could get a little apartment here, part of the year, or if I got my own apartment, which doesn't look like I will at this rate, because Miami's expensive. Even if I can't even get a steady job yet because my mother wants to travel and she can't go alone. And strangely enough, although I was the one who never got along with her, my brother always got along with her, she wants me to go with her. Now that she doesn't have her memory, she forgets that we don't get along. So, so there's that. If I get a steady job, I can't just travel whenever she wants to go, which should be in the next few months. She wants to visit her homeland, Argentina. I think a part of her senses that, she doesn't know, but she senses that, she's not well, mentally. But then she forgets. So it's like a part of her is okay, but that part is going. The part that understands what's going on is going. So what was my point? Yeah, so anyway, I can't get a steady job. I could temp, but the temp agency isn't calling me. I'm tired of calling them. And I think it's because I'm so open on social media. I knew that might happen. I quit my job. I decided to say whatever I feel like saying to whoever I feel like saying, whenever I feel like saying. And I thought about it beforehand, and I said it could hinder you from finding work, and at least temp work. I told her about it. I said, look, if it's because of my social media presence, I'm not taking it down. So, she said, oh, no, it's not that. It's not that. She, but I know that it is. There's no reason. I always got a job, and there is work. There is temp work. I would always get work like that overnight because I'm one of the best secretaries in Miami and in DC, in the world. I'm one of the best secretaries in the world. I don't mean to be bragging, but that's like the only thing I can brag about. But, because I have my opinions and I'm open about them on social media, and they're not the opinions that, are supposed to be the right ones, so I don't get work, which is fine. I'm tired of working for people. But I wish I could work for myself, and I can't focus either. I'm getting a little better, though. I'm not focusing as very well on work, but like I finally got myself to start cleaning the garage and organizing my things, and so I'm getting there. And I have these business ideas. I have so many that I just never did any of them. Or I start one and then I want to do the other one too, and I gotta do one. Start with one and focus on one. So that's what, the dog, there we go. The dog cutting, I did a little advertising. I didn't get any work, and I'm not trying, but in the dog grooming. And now I got this mean dog. I'm afraid someone's going to bite me. I'm afraid to get bitten. And yeah, you could put a muzzle on the dog, but and then the dog might not sit. I don't think I'm going to be a dog groomer, you guys. I even had my business cards made. I have them. Like, maybe I'll pass them around from time to time. And if someone wants me to groom their dog, I'll do it. I'll look on YouTube how to, the kind of cut, because I don't know. It took a week. I can't possibly know how to do all the different breeds, but I'll go. I'm sure there's a YouTube video on the internet. I'll see what the dog is supposed to look like, and I'll cut the hair that way. Really, what we learn more from the class was mainly animal behavior is more what we learned. And the basics, how to clean the ears properly without hurting the dog. Without, you have to be very careful in the ear. It could get damaged. So cleaning a dog's ears, you have to be very careful. That part we spent time on. But the hair cutting was mainly how to get the dog to stay still, how to be more of an alpha, so the dog respects you more, he'll stay still more, stuff like that. The wolf mentality, or I don't know, but they're supposed to send me a link to a video course that they did that's on video, so there's that part. But I don't know. Yeah, I'll still offer to wash people's dogs for them and cut their hairs and stuff, but I don't know. What else can I talk about? I've always wanted to be a person who gets temp work for people. And help people that way. But I don't feel right charging, because the people I want to help are, for example, people who have been to jail, like felons, but they're recovered. Now they've served their time, and now they're back out, and felons have hard time finding work. And it's not always violent felons. You can have a felony and not be a violent person. It depends what you did. Drug dealers, low-level drug dealers have felonies. And they weren't necessarily violent. I mean, they did bad things. Of course, they're providing drugs to people and harming them, and maybe youth and all that. But a lot of times drug dealers get into it because they haven't had other opportunities. If you're born in a poor neighborhood, your family's, your mother's got problems, your father's non-existent, you don't see role models around you, your schools suck, you can barely do math, and basic English grammar, and you fall into drug dealing, and it's sales. Drug dealers can be some of the best salesmen, working in sales. But I want to teach jobs I taught Excel. I teach Excel for free on Twitch. I put a few up there. Oh, and here on YouTube. There's a link below. It's on one of the links in the section of this channel where it says other channels or something like that. That's all my channels that exist. I even found a channel the other day. I don't even know how to log into it. From when I was married, and my husband and I had a bounce house business. We bought a bunch of bounce houses. We had like 7 or 8 of them. And I started a little channel. I was going to do like a little channel for kids, like, teaching backyard nature, and I always had that idea. And then, so I started it, and then what happened was, ended up, the business, he had the business when I divorced him, but then I think he, stopped doing the business, or sold the stuff or whatever. But they were fun times when we had that little business. They were good times. There were some parts of my marriage that were really, that I remember fondly, and sometimes I get a little sad, you know, anyway, what's done is done. What was my point? I forgot. What was I talking about? See what happens? I was talking about sales. I was talking about finding jobs for drug dealers that have served their time. Like temp jobs, forklift operator, and that's right. So I found that channel. So I teach Excel, because that's a way to get work. And especially if you learn to drive a forklift, which takes like 90 minutes, you can get a certificate. You pass a test online, and OSHA certified. Anyone who's out there wondering what to do with your life, and you just need a quick income until you figure it out. To be a forklift operator, it's about a 90-minute online course. You get a certificate that's OSHA certified. 360, look it up, 360training.com. It's about $79. So you have that certified OSHA for 3 years. Then you're ready. From that, you can apply for work, especially now when they need forklift operators. Because you apply for the job as the forklift operator. You tell them, I have this certificate. Don't lie. If you have driven a forklift, even better. But even if you haven't, you're certified. You took great. Now we'll train you on our equipment, because not every, you might learn on one forklift, but the one where you apply to, the job you apply to has a different forklift. It's a different model and make, and it runs differently. They're all more or less the same, but the OSHA class is for safety, safety, loading, unloading, how not to hurt your back, all that stuff. But, so I was thinking of doing that, like helping people, raise money, or on their own if they can pay for the $79 for some people is not much. But for some people have nothing. They have a penny or nothing. Raising or saving $79 for a homeless person to take a course when you got to eat that day. A homeless person, and some of them are mentally ill on the street, but that doesn't mean that they can't work. You can be mentally ill and work, within your capacity, or if you're mentally challenged, also you can work as a forklift operator within a certain level of intelligence. Of course, you have to understand, the safety stuff and all that, but here's my thing. If you learn Excel and you know how to drive a forklift, you could become a manager of a warehouse eventually. You have to start at the bottom, like with anything else, but I think I get free, because I was thinking of taking the forklift course. Not that I want to be a forklift operator, but then I'll understand the people I'm helping, because I paid for a forklift course for this homeless guy that I've known for several years. He finally took it. I paid for it a few months ago. He was not doing it. I was like, whatever. He finally took the course and passed. I believe this gentleman has some mental health issues, post-traumatic stuff, and he's 30 now. But when I met him, he was 23. He's been on the street all this time. I think he found a girlfriend for a while, and they lived together, but then they broke up, and he was back on the street. And what was I gonna say next? Anyway, we'll see. So he has the certificate now, so he can start applying for work without anything else. But he has a felony, so not a non-violent, it was, well, he claims, I think it is a violent one, something like violence, arrest with violence. I'm not sure what it was, but the police will add on charges sometimes, even if it's not true. And I'm not saying he's Mr. Perfect Angel but I've never known him to, I don't know him, like that, but I've known him many years, and I've never known him to be violent. whenever I'm with him, he's very peaceful. I would take him to lunch sometimes. Even the way he speaks, and definitely has depression or something. I recognize that, and I think he's mentioned it also. Bad youth growing up, bad neighborhood, bad father that kind of just disappeared. Mother, single mothers, tough life. And I don't know his mother at all, but, typical story. Probably low self-esteem, when you're poor, you have no father, you're this, you're that, you maybe have some depression, you get teased, who knows, I don't know his youth. His brother ended up being murdered, shot in the environment that they're in. Really bad. So post-traumatic depression, I'm not a therapist or a doctor, but I know something's going on in that area. And you recognize things. When you've had issues, you can kind of, not always, but you can kind of recognize people that have similar. And all right, so he has that. He could start applying. He probably isn't, but I was thinking I could rent a forklift for a day for him to practice on. He doesn't have to, but anyone out there who's thinking about it, it's an idea for you. Or maybe he could go to Goodwill, but it's kind of hard to apply for work when you're on the street. That's the thing. And I'm not going to pay for his rent, and I can't afford it. What am I talking about? I can't even afford my own rent. But, and I don't know him well enough to refer him to a friend of mine who would likely allow him. I have a friend who's very kind. She has a shed in the back, or even if he could pitch a tent in someone's yard and get a shower. To get a shower, he has places where he can shower. And I'll admit, others have more oomph. Another person would say, okay, well, I have this forklift thing. I'll just wing it for a month, find a place to shower every day, get to work. They have that push. But they shouldn't be expected to, and he apparently doesn't have it. And it's not fair to expect him to. This, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You have the thing, just, some people have the drive and some don't. And I can't judge him if he doesn't have it. I'm sure if he had a roof over his head and a place to shower easily, but if it's an effort to get to the place where you can shower, and then an effort to get to your job when, and you gotta, I did offer him, if he does find a job or if he gets an interview, I did offer to drive him there until he's on his feet. Drive him to, now, fingers crossed that it's not somewhere like way out in the boondocks. I told him, try to apply kind of not too far out, like within Miami at least. And plus, if I'm going to be traveling, he's going to have to get on his feet before I travel, So I'd give him a month, because after a month you get your pay, and then you can, find a roommate if it's not enough to, because Miami's expensive. That's the other problem. But I didn't mean to go off on a tangent about him. My point is, if you're a person out there, you don't know what to do, the course we used was 360training.com. And I think if I put a link below, look, and maybe I'll do a separate video just doing this. And there's other courses in there too. There's a lot of neat courses. I was getting kind of like, I don't remember off the top of my head, but there was a course even to learn how to teach forklift operator, which maybe, that one was expensive though. But I'm sure I could do that and then start a little forklift operator school. There is one. There are other ones. I wouldn't be the only one, but they charge a lot. And, of course, that's my thing. I wouldn't make any money because I feel bad for people and I want to help them, so I'm not going to make any money. So maybe I could start a nonprofit and get people to donate, and help people get their forklift courses, and then I could maybe get a little area where we could either buy or rent a forklift for the day, I think if I had a forklift school, I would actually get a forklift. But I would have to have a place, so we maybe live on donations and give myself a salary. Of course, a nonprofit has to give salaries to the people that work there. So, but it wouldn't be difficult. I could teach if I got that, these are ideas that who knows if I'll ever do. And if I don't do them, guys, you do the idea. It's not my idea. I mean, it's an idea that others have had and have done. But because I looked into a forklift school here in Miami, it was expensive. It was a day long. It was a couple of hours actually. Because I think what they do is they teach the class, then they give the test, and then they give you 15 minutes on a forklift. And first of all, 360training.com, you can take the test, and if you fail it, you can take it again and again and again. Some people are not meant for traditional education, But even taking the test over and over and over, and you remember the answers for the next time, you learn, So, the right answer for so I don't know. Plus, they gotta train you on the forklift when you go to work. Plus, you'll have a supervisor. So, I think it's a quick way to get a job. And if you have a felony, of course, on the application you say, yes, I have a felony. And in the interview you say, yes, I did have a bad life before this. And I finally woke up, whatever happened to you that woke you up. And I had the opportunity, I realized I had this opportunity with this forklift class. And first of all, I think it's a cool job. You maybe lie a little bit, you want them to think you're excited about the job. And I thought, cool, I didn't realize it was, I always thought of being a forklift operator. I thought it would be a cool job, but I didn't know it was so easy to get certified. And, so I saw an opportunity and I said, hey, maybe this is my way out. And, kind of, I would say that in an interview. And I'm ready to commit, to a job. And now, if you're young, they'll accept that. And I'm hoping it's true as well. You say that in the interview, and I'm hoping you're also saying it truthfully. If you're a person who doesn't have your act together, like me, maybe I know. But the thing is, for me, it's easy because I got my parents feeding me free rent. So you see, I don't have any incentive to really get my bum off my behind. But what would incentivize me is definitely, a nonprofit. Maybe that's what I need to do. Start a nonprofit organization. But I've got to sell. I got to sell the idea to people so that they send donations, and then prove that I'm really, because that's the other thing with this GoFundMe generation and the crowdfunding generation. There are so many scammers that I would have to really prove that I'm really doing, and have the budget and show. Well, I wouldn't use GoFundMe because actually, there are some that, if it's a nonprofit, they don't take out the fee. I don't know if it's GoFundMe, but it's my baby girl. Oh, she moves around a lot at night. Anyway, I've been blah, blah, blahing. I hope I've kept it ASMR, you guys. I'm trying. Oh, I keep forgetting. Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to put this on the Ramble Scramble just in case. And if it's ASMR enough, maybe I'll put it over on the other one. Okay. Yeah, I think I've blabbed enough for now. I'll probably do another ramble soon. I hope I did it okay. Thank you. Bye.